Panharmonicon presents a podcast.
Our money. 1,000. $1,000. And some in gold. It's a tidy sum. But when I'm paid, I always see the job through.
I'm jealous of your ability to whistle, man.
It was very impressive. I started and then I was like, wait, are we going to get copyrighted?
Oh.
If you get copyrighted,
That would be, yeah.
you know what?
If it happens, it happens.
Copyright is that's the cowboy theme at this
Right?
point.
For sure.
I hear that. I didn't even know it originated with this movie.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that so many places all the time.
I just
Not the first
knew
time for you?
the first time seeing the movie, I always just associated that with that was the only reason why I knew of the movie was because of that soundbite. Because I would listen to the theme song, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just mostly just for the whistling, but
That. Okay.
yeah,
So, of the folks, it's Western Month.
it is Western month.
It is Western Month.
Nice.
And that is where we're off to a bombastic start.
Mm-hmm.
We're off to a bombastic start
I think
here.
the epitome of spaghetti westerns.
Ooh.
Is it? I mean, it probably
Well.
is. It is a really probably genre defining movie
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
I just think between this Magnificent Seven, the other movies in this trilogy, I think they all just encapsulate that concept of the spaghetti western to such a strong degree that they are it.
Yeah.
Are
sense.
spaghetti westerns, do they have to be Italian made? Because I was reading something that specifically called out that they are...
I think that's the spaghetti part of it.
Yeah.
Spaghetti western.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's that literal.
I'm going to take this pair of scissors and cut out my jugular. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for joining us on another episode of Panharmonicon Studios presents
Podcast.
I'm glad you did that. And I'm glad that you all joined us today. If you can for us, hit the subscribe button. Lets us know that you are down with what we are doing, gelling with what we are gelling.
Down with our sickness.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Get up and get down and hit that thumbs up button. Or hit that thumbs down button. Either way. Drop a comment, whether you are on YouTube or on Spotify. And if you're on Spotify, hit the follow and give us a rating of 1 through 5. You're starting our Western month off with a strong one. But before we get to the main course, if you will, fellas, how have you been? What have you been up to?
I want to reiterate. I am very excited to watch the rest of the movies in this. I got to say, because when I think one of the first film theory classes I had, one of the first things we did was this exercise involving, I think we used the film was Searchers. It was John Wayne Western. And it's so interesting to revisit that and just to see all of I'm having fun. I'm good. I am good because these are fun snacks. This is a great snack, and yeah, I'm at a loss.
And that's
What about
okay.
you?
You know, that happens. I was going to pretty much not a whole lot's going on. Excited for warmth. I do love the snow, but I think we just had too much. You know what? I feel like that's not a hot take.
Not a hot take
There
at
was
all.
too much.
It stayed its welcome.
Yes.
It was cool for a couple of days. Hey man, you can chill on the couch for a little bit.
Yep.
But then it was you're here too long. You need to go. You're not paying rent. Get out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Said to stay for 2 days, whole month.
Dude.
But yeah, have not enjoyed taking out the recycling in the trash can, just hauling through a good chunk of snow.
And it's wild because like we had a decent like snow. I'm gonna call it a storm, but a little snow that happened. I think somewhere mid to early December, and then within days it was all gone. Like, it warmed up and it evaporated, and then this fern came through and it just lingered.
Linger, man.
Just lingers. He gets the snickle fritz.
But it was very annoying. What have I been up to? So video games.
Ooh, okay.
Have been my thing
For a
probably
while now.
Too much. So what was the last game I played before I was talking on here?
I think a Pokemon or
it's probably one of those Pokemon games. But we had the PSN New Month games came through last month. And
I saw you playing Subnautica.
I have been playing Subnautica Below Zero a lot.
Okay.
I still need to play the original Subnautica, but really, I guess I do enjoy like survival games.
Okay.
I guess I've learned that over this past like
That's what it is.
Year.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens in Subnautica, like, well, at least in Below Zero, is you're headed towards an alien planet, but you end up getting. Your ship blows up, and you get a drop pod down into the planet that has it's mostly ocean. And Below Zero, there's also a lot of ice, which is the Below Zero part. So you're basically trying to figure out something about like your sister's death, or if your sister is even still alive. You don't know. But throughout that, what you need to be doing is like, since you only have a drop pod, you need to basically build survival tools. So you're like. In water, you're trying to avoid being eaten by stuff while also like mining to build new things to help you get further and further into the ocean, just to figure out what's happening with your sister. I also played another kind of like survival game called Core Keeper, which is a 2D pixel art game, which is like it's like Minecraft meets
Stardew
Valley
right?
meets like Terraria. Basically, you wake up. Well, you're supposed to be an adventurer.
Okay.
You are teleported to this like underground, like cavernous area, and there's this thing like a core, but you don't know what to do with the core. But you eventually are told by the core that it can get you back where you want to be. But you need to kill some things first. But you can't just kill things because you don't have stuff. So you need to start basically mining to build things to eventually kind of get yourself a little base so that you can come in and out of places to get more like materials to build stronger things to be able to kill all these monsters that are underground. It's multiplayer, but I've only been playing single player. I just actually beat it. Which is the first ever survival game I've ever beat, because usually they kind of just go on.
Yeah.
It was great that this had an ending. Also, I got into the beta test for a Chinese game called Neverness to Everness, NTE. It is considered, they call it the anime like Grand Theft Auto, because you kind of are just, it's, I don't know if you've ever played games like Genshin Impact or... Okay, well.
Seen them played, but I didn't want to get into that kind of gambling. I feel like it's not
mechanics.
It's not good for my brain.
Luckily, because it's a beta, there's no actual spending money.
Oh, okay, cool.
In fact, they've been like each day just giving me free like rolls.
Cool.
I don't know if I'll play it once like that stops being a thing, but for right now, basically it's like in these type of games, you can have up to like 4 characters. There's like the main character that is like either there's like the main character, and then you have like 3 other characters that usually you get through gacha mechanics. And this one, instead of being like a Zelda clone the way that Genshin Impact is, or a Persona clone the way that Honkai Star Rail is, this one is essentially a GTA clone, but it's not made by the company that makes those other games. But it uses so much of their like resources, like the design ethos, everything. You're like, how are you not getting sued?
Power got sued.
It's so weird. But in this one, you are, it's more open. It's like very open.
Very cool.
I actually just got a car and am able to just like drive around the city. Got some cool characters. There's some more I haven't seen yet. Just a story about like something is invading and it blew up this other city, and you're trying to make sure it doesn't happen in the city that you're living in, but you don't have your memories. You just kind of actually just popped up in the middle of that other attack and was killing stuff, but you don't know how you were able to do it. So it's been running for like a few weeks, or no, just a week now. It'll be running toward the end of the month, and then I think I'll get into the marathon. I'll be playing a little bit of that marathon beta after that. Video games, that's been me.
I totally forgot. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so for Subnautica, do you feel like you have thalassophobia, I think is how you pronounce it? Are you scared of like deep ocean?
Thalassophobia, I think it's
yes. Magic the Gathering.
So, no.
Okay.
And I think it's mostly because I don't ever think I'd find myself just like in deep open ocean.
Okay.
But I will admit that there have been times in this game that I've gotten caught off guard.
Okay.
Because there's a progression of like how big things get.
This is where I was transitioning to, because you're Mr. Horror Man. So if you are scared of the ocean, because I feel like we had very different Subnautica experiences, because I am so scared of that game. Like, I just feel so defenseless. Like
you feel very defenseless because you don't have weapons.
Yes, you
and
do.
I think that's
like
a very
build it and
like
stuff,
annoying thing.
Yeah.
Like, because at first, like, the game puts you in a very safe area where there's nothing but, like, tiny fish for you to, like,
and, like,
you can just, and I love that fishing, and, like, it's just, you swim up and you just snatch a fish.
Yes.
Like, that's fishing. But eventually, like, the first thing was there was this shark thing. And I was like, what's up with this shark? And then they like tried to attack me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I just like was swimming circles with it, and then eventually it just like gave up, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then there was these like alligator, like snap jaw things, and I was like, "What is happening here?" And they'll start chasing you, like, "Okay, get away from me." I need to pick up stuff. I was so concerned about like just picking up ore and stuff. I wasn't even really thinking about them.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't really until I think I got a sea truck, and I got like kind of into like toward the void, and I don't know what to call this thing. It is gigantic, and it like its mouth grabbed the front of the sea truck and started crushing it. I was like, okay, I'm not coming around this area no more.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and you're just a little guy in a big ship, so you're like, if anything happens, I'm
dead.
done. Yeah.
Like I'm like I will never get out of my sea truck in this area because I think it will just eat me whole, and I'm not sure if it can do that or not. I don't want to test.
So scary because you'll just hear it too. Like that's the worst part.
Like there was a time. And I just got into my sea truck because I was out and I was like against like some glacier, like just grabbing stuff, and then just like, I was like, "What is? Oh, like,
time to go home."
Swim. I was like, "Get me in here now because I'm not just about to eat you up." And I had just gotten a whole bunch of stuff, and I did finally learn that if you die, you can be losing things. And I was like, "No, thank you. I don't want to die."
Consequences. So. All that to say, could be something for you to investigate.
I mean, that is a difference. It's a totally different ball game when I have no defenses. Like, there's no way to protect myself. Because what you're saying, what I'm reminded of is a particular level in Super Mario 64. I think there's a level that you go into and it's underwater. And there is this giant underwater, like, Loch Ness monster type creature that at one point you're just, like, swimming alongside of. And I just remember as a kid being terrified of that because one, you're underwater, like, so any predator in that area, you have no advantages. It's going to be faster than you and everything, and then also just the idea of being alongside something in an environment in which you are not master of, that is not your domain at all. It's like being trapped in somebody's domain in like Jujutsu Kaisen or some shit, and it is 100 times your size. Fuck that. Like, imagine swimming next to something and then
awful.
Like
it's terrible.
Your whole body is as big as its eye.
Yeah. Hey, that's the T-Rex in the. That's my base fear as a human being.
But I totally forgot that Resident Evil Requiem is coming out in 2 weeks. So I'm very excited about that. And so they have a bunch.
Really good.
Dude, yeah. There's story-wise, I am afraid of where it's going to go. Personally,
Are we forging new paths, or is it?
It's weird because it's like, and I feel like they were kind of doing it with Village, where they were kind of like being like, here's the new
New generation.
the new generation,
Yeah.
but they've been bringing in like
Because they brought in Chris,
combining it into the older ones in.
yeah.
And I really enjoy the fact that the two characters play different, and they recognize that Leon has to be an aggressor because he can't, like, he's too experienced. He can't be scared.
Sure.
So like he's going to be coming into this like prepared and like not like you can't play old school style Resident Evil, or well I should say new school style Resident Evil with someone who's done it all. Mm-hmm. So he has to play different than Grace, who is like being thrust into this.
Yeah.
And therefore she is going to be played like, and she's going to be scared. No, anybody else that wasn't Leon or Chris would be scared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's cool that it's in Raccoon City. I don't know if you saw the last trailer.
Cool.
I didn't. I've seen it already hinted at that, like he goes
But he's
back
going
to the
back
RPD,
to the RPD.
and just like where everything started, and that's kind of what is lending into my fear. Not only because I do think it's going to be a similar situation as in Resident Evil 4 when he was infected with the Las Plagas, and I think potentially maybe infected it here again is kind of what people or the rumor that's going around the mill. But the fact that it is coming full circle, and that is kind of what has me scared, because typically when something comes full circle, I feel like that is the end of, you know, the trilogy and or not the trilogy, but the end of that character's arc, right? And either you retire that character or that character dies. There was a comment that was made, I think, by Leon in one of the trailers where he says, like, 6 survivors of Raccoon City have already died. And now my mind is racing of who is he talking about, because Grace, I think, is the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, who was one of the survivors from Resident Evil Outbreak. So I love that they are going back into Outbreak because, dude, we had so much fun playing Outbreak. Like, when we were with teenagers, like being at our friend's place, we would just all be huddled around the PS2 trying to survive, and I kind of think that that's where they're going with why Grace is significant in the first place, is because in that game they introduced that mechanic where people were you had like an infection rate, and so it just made me wonder, like, did she get out of Raccoon City, and then because Grace technically would be young enough that she could have had her after the events of Raccoon City. So could that be a reason why she is special to this new organization? I don't know, but
she's like an Ellie.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and also scared at the same time. But, yeah.
Did you see Silent Hill Townfall?
No.
There's another Silent Hill game coming out called Townfall.
Ooh.
It's a I think it's the first Silent Hill game to have a black guy as the protagonist.
Oh my god.
But
yeah,
they've been pumping them out. Konami is like really getting back into video gaming, which is
awesome,
interesting to see.
Yeah, it is.
They've even got a Castlevania game coming out by the guys who did Dead Cells.
Whoa!
Oh,
wow!
Oh boy! All right, gotta look into this one.
But that was our video game talk.
Yeah, we
so sorry.
We don't do just movies here, folks.
Yeah.
If you've seen on our channel, we do have a Resident Evil playthrough.
Yeah.
So
we need more Let's Plays. We need more play. Game it up.
So we're gonna move into our little section here where we do our brain teaser.
Brain teaser.
And this edition of the brain teaser, I grabbed a poorly explained movie plot from the subreddit of a similar name. Andrew and Farron here are going to try to figure out what it is.
And Andrew's going to succeed.
You might too.
Give me Flubber or Fast and Furious. I'm
good.
Midsommar too is another one.
So, in this movie, everything takes place over the course of one day on a train. Sex, murder, corruption, check, check, check. This was supposed to be a nice, chill train, but you never know who you're going to end up sitting next to. At the end of the movie, the protagonist is like, worst train ever.
So it's a train movie. So Bullet Train, is that the name of it was more
With Brad Pitt.
Yes.
It was a Brad Pitt one,
Yes.
I get the feeling that a train isn't a train
Whoa.
In the movie, everything takes place
on a
over
train.
the course of one day on a train.
Okay. I just
Polar Express, not one day, I think. Or no, is it? They're
I
going
don't
to
think there was sex, murder, and corruption in Polar Express.
Oh, for sure. Whoops. Who? I don't know. There's a long
Tom
train.
Hanks.
We don't
Yeah.
know.
what is that movie that came out? It has Kenneth Branagh. I think. Oh my gosh! I think there's this something Nile.
Death on the Nile? That's on a boat, I thought.
Isn't one of them on a train though?
Oh,
I thought there was a sequel that happened on a train. I thought one was like on a river on a
Okay.
boat. To your point, and
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
there was another one where they did it on a train.
Maybe.
And it was
310
called
to
Death on
Yuma.
the Nile.
Well, I'm sorry. It's in that. I don't know if it's a trilogy, but it's in that world. I guess
okay.
is.
The Snyderverse.
Sorry.
Sorry. Bad jokes. What is the year, please?
The year is the same year that the last movie we did, 2001.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Trains.
Oh, you know, I didn't start the timer. Okay. One day on a train.
One day. On a
Worst train ever.
Worst train ever.
So the protagonist sounds like a valley girl?
No. I just did that.
Oh.
It's just
Is it
the
Snowpiercer?
protagonist is just like worst train ever.
Oh.
I don't think Snowpiercer would work.
That's 2012. Well,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
That's Mr. Evans.
Mr. Evans.
Mr. Crease. 2001. Genre, please.
Sounds like a
Crime, action, thriller.
crime action thriller.
When did Sin City come out?
2006 or 7? I don't think there's any trains in it like that. Like that's 2001. Did it have a theatrical release?
Yeah.
Or is this a straight? Okay.
Oh, good question.
You know those straight to DVD movies, man, or straight to VHS.
I
dude.
wouldn't choose this straight to DVD.
Are you like, okay, that's all right. Really good to know,
Don the Dragon Wilson was in.
dude. That it is. I know this is another one of those where as soon as you say it, I'm gonna be like, "Damn it, I should have known."
You want to just let him start ripping through train movies?
My thing is like, what's going to stop me is my filter of like, oh, that's not that year. It's not that year. It's not 2001. It's not 2001. But I can't think of, because the first thing I wanted to say was Money Train, which I think is a Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes movie, but that's in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
One day on a train.
Would you like me to say it over again?
Yes.
Please.
In this movie, everything takes place over the course of one day on a train. Sex, murder, corruption, check, and check. This was supposed to be a nice, chill train, but you never know who you're going to end up sitting next to.
Unbreakable? No.
At the end of the movie, the protagonist is like, worst train ever.
The thing is, I think Unbreakable was 2000, so even still, the whole thing doesn't take place on the train anyway. Oh boy. All right, 2 minutes. Boy, this is... What other... Okay, so we know it's 2001. Theatrical release. Crime, action, thriller, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thriller and crime are like the main ones.
The actor that plays the protagonist, or like its core, the film's core characters, are these big name actors, or are these people that kind of faded into oblivion? Okay.
I'm blanking on the train part.
Yeah. Of like, especially a movie that takes place entirely on a train.
Yeah. Because I want to say like Thomas the Tank Engine or something like that, but that's...
I mean...
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Gotta
Did
check.
it even have a movie?
I think he
Probably.
did eventually have a movie.
Did it have big names in it?
I want to
Thomas
say
the Engine
the actress that played Matilda.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, she's not a huge name, but like, who's not familiar with Matilda?
I mean, the movie, yes. The actress, no.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I have no idea what. Yeah. She kind of reminds me of a Berenstain Bear. Is Berenstain?
Bernstein. That's the question. What is it?
Yeah. Apparently, I just know that whatever I thought it was wrong.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's just because most people are used to like Stein as like that ending and not Stain.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I would have. Yep. Well, that's time.
I was going to say, speaking of Stain, I think we got an L on that one.
Yep.
That's okay.
You what?
I won't say I swerved you, but I did pull you off of the scent that you were on because it isn't about a train.
Oh.
It is 2001's Training Day.
Ah. You did swerve me, man. I told you. I said it. I feel like the train isn't. Yep, worst train ever. Worst training. Yeah, because that. Damn. That was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild. It's also just wild in that movie that like the main reason why he even survives that night is because earlier that day he happened to save their like cousin or something like that, or niece, or whatever the situation was.
I think she was the niece.
Okay.
Which, yeah.
I've got my shit pushed in. Oh, dude,
That got him.
Tuco. And speaking of Tuco,
whoa, what
feature
a
presentation.
Greasy.
Feature presentation. Well, all right. Today's film, 1967's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So in the Southwest during the Civil War, a mysterious stranger, Blondie, played by Clint Eastwood, and a Mexican outlaw, Tuco, form an uneasy partnership. Blondie turns in Bandit for the reward money, then rescues him just as he's being hanged. When Blondie's shot at the noose goes awry during an escapade, a furious Tuco tries to have him murdered. The men reteam abruptly, however, to beat out a sadistic criminal in the Union Army and find $200,000 in a soldier has buried in the desert.
The oldest movie we have done so far. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, released December 29th, 1967. The third of the Dollar Trilogy movies. It had a budget of $1.2 million, twice that of its prequel for a few dollars more. Box office lifetime is $25 million. The only source I can find so far for its box office during its original release is places it at $6 million during 1967, which is also putting it at the 26th movie of the year of 1967. Which I find odd that was the case, considering it came out December 29th of that year.
Whoa!
But then, as I looked into the movies that came out during that year, I actually reneged on that, because just 7 days before this movie came out, The Graduate came out.
Oh.
And
damn,
grossed $104 million that year.
That's wild.
In
The Graduate.
12 days, something like that?
The 10 days that it had left.
10 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. The Graduate grossed $104 million in 10 days.
1967, yes.
That's crazy.
I'm assuming that's the case, and I'm not like much with The Good, the Bad, and Ugly. I'm assuming that is the fiscal year of 1967.
Are you sure it's not its entire run? Like
that was not its
68.
That wasn't its entire run. No, that was its like 1960s. Like everyone placed it at that being its 1967 gross.
I'm sorry. What was it about The Graduate that I'm not saying I enjoy The Graduate. I'm not. It's a great movie. I'm just surprised, given the subject matter, that a film like The Graduate would have been. I mean, that's a lot of money for 1967.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Huge, yeah.
97 across the board at Rotten Tomatoes. 8.8 out of 10. IMDb, 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I'm pretty sure this is the highest rated movie we've watched so far using these aggregated scores, especially on Letterboxd, because people on Letterboxd seem to be very conservative in their scoring on movies. Like I said, Graduate came out on 7 days before Good, Bad, the Ugly. Guess who's coming to dinner? Gone with the Wind and The Jungle Book were also the big movies that came out during that period of time.
Wow.
The Jungle Book.
You know, this is it's one of those movies that reminds me of like just late night or just really just growing up in general, because like obviously like as a kid I grew up in a house where there was generations of us. So like my grandparents are in the same house, and my mom, of course, just having grown up in a totally different time. So there'd be times when like I'm in the kitchen and just where her room was situated that I could hear like MASH playing, and there's all of these older shows. And as a kid, you could look at something like a TV show or a film and like the graininess of it, you're just like, oh, this is so old, I am not interested. Like automatically, like your mind just cuts it off. And so I kind of feel bad because it's like I feel like I start to ask myself, how many films have I not
just dinked?
Yeah, just because of that. And then there's plenty of older films that I've seen, like obviously like Citizen Kane and stuff like that, way older than this film. But it's one of those films where as soon as you start watching it, almost from like the very beginning, you see just how inspirational this film has been to generations that have come after. Like from beginning to end, you're like, I see now where they got that. Whether it's the way they shot the film, whether it's the music like you were talking about before with the soundtrack, which is amazing, all of it.
As someone who actually enjoyed watching older stuff, like I was a big I didn't like MASH, but
neither did I.
I liked watching stuff like the Beverly Hillbillies or like the Munsters or Bonanza and stuff like that. So this movie caught me in a way that, oddly enough, it didn't catch me in that way. It actually, and it wasn't until like toward the end. Actually, it was the very end of the movie where I was like, I get it. I get like. It's it's kind of weird to say because I don't mean it the way that I'm about to say it, but I almost get like why like the alpha male mindset rushes towards things like this. There's this machismo that a character like Blondie just like personifies, that I can understand why someone's like, that's like another dude's like, that's the definition of a man, right? But there's also like a code of honor. And honestly, we know that a lot of these Western movies pulled from like Akira Kurosawa works. So in a lot of ways, like these cowboys act like samurai more than probably the actual cowboys of their time. But this concept that almost anything goes, but we go about it in a certain way. And it's funny because of the constant talk about like so many phallic things, right? But like the idea that a gun is power, right? And with a gun you unlock way more doors than you do with a key.
Sure. I mean, you see that when Tuco gets the pistol from the general store guy, he just immediately robs him.
And it's like I get it, I don't condone it, but I got it.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's like a difference though in the way that masculinity is portrayed here. There's variations of it. It seems like there's grades to it.
Yeah.
But to me, it kind of feels like, because especially with Clint Eastwood's character with Blondie, there is a code of honor. Because with me, like the idea of toxic masculinity, like there is no honor at all. It's just like you're pulling what you feel are like a la carte, the best parts of men from, prominent media, to say this is what we're supposed to,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, but there is.
That's what I mean when I say like I get why he's like a
staple.
Like he's something that they're not really trying to achieve him. They're trying to achieve their mindset, their belief of what he represents.
Okay.
And that's like I was like, I get it, because anybody could probably look at that character and glean like some sort of inspiration from him, like Blondie. And even though, funnily enough, I found it very odd at the end. I was like, why is this movie even called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Because each one is a personification of that, supposedly. But like, they kind of all are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even the good, like like they're running a scheme. Like that's how they're introduced.
Yeah.
So like, it's hard to call, like, I mean, in the eyes of like storytelling, he's the protagonist. But at the same time, it's not like he's good. He's not a person that you're really supposed to be sympathizing with. But because of the way he carries himself, it almost makes you be like, I sympathize with him more than I sympathize with, say, Angel Eyes.
Right, right.
So it's like I got that. Like I was like I feel it almost a little bit. Like especially at the I almost want to call it a Mexican standoff, but like the like that three way.
Yeah,
we're all just sitting there and they're like looking at each other and they're like, yeah, who's shooting first? What's gonna happen here? And like it's just constantly killing back and forth, and then you got that whole playing, and you're like, yeah, man.
That
the
scene,
blood's pumping right now.
Yeah. As I was watching that scene, I couldn't help but think about there's a scene in Shanghai Noon with I forget, I think his name is Roy, Owen Wilson's character in that film, where there is a standoff between him and there's another gunslinger who is kind of like his antithesis in that film, and he's supposed to be like a really good gunslinger, and I think Roy sort of acts in a way in which he kind of looks up to him almost. And they're doing the cutting back and forth between their facial expressions and the camera's getting closer and closer up in their eyes and seeing them react to each other. But then there's an overdub of Roy's, specifically his internal thoughts and all of the fear that he actually has. And so that I think in that respect, they're like adding the comical element to it, especially with Owen Wilson, in that you actually get to hear what he's thinking in his uncertainty. Because it's like when you're watching that standoff at the end of this film, I mean, you know, you don't get their internal thoughts, you don't get their inner workings of what's happening, but it's a funny thing to think, right, of these so-called hard-boiled, scruffy men, and like, what if they are thinking about how
like, which one do I
are,
shoot?
their skills and whatnot, you know? It's What a scheme, though. I was wondering, because there was the scene where when Blondie and Tuco are about to run it the second time, and then Angel Eyes sees them, and he makes that comment to the woman in the carriage about people having like a guardian angel. Yeah. And then he goes in, and I just was started to get curious, like back then, I wonder, was that a common thing? Was that a common scheme that people ran?
I feel like you could do anything in the Wild West, man.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I wrote, I was just like, I feel like Westerns for ages have made marshals out to be like just dumb. Because at some point you got to recognize that one person in particular keeps bringing in this same dude. And I get that, like, it's supposed to be a play, like he keeps running into the shit, but like, they got a network of communicating that could be like, hey, this very wanted criminal just got like somehow like released by a gunman that we just act like we don't see or recognize. Let us know if you see him again. And then some correspondence, a blind guy just brought that dude in. And then a blind guy brought him in for us. Yeah.
And it just keeps on happening. And that's one of the things I think was so cool about the way that they spoke to each other and the cleverness of the writing. And like why I brought that up, because it's the first time you see them do it, he shoots the rope clean, one shot, perfectly. Then they had that conversation about, you know, there's two people in the world. There's the people with the noose around their neck, and then there's the person who does the cutting. And Tuco feels that he's putting his neck on the line, literally, to run this scheme. I deserve a bigger share. And it's funny to me that the very next scene, they're running the scheme again, and it's almost as if Blondie was trying to show him how important that role is. Because he shoots once, like snips it, and then kind of makes him a little bit nervous. And then he shoots it again and he breaks it. And the funny thing is, I think, is that by the end of the film, and this is why I bring up the threes, by the end of the film, it happens again to where he's standing on the wood, he's trying to yell his name, and he's in threat of like actually hanging himself. And you see Blondie right off in the distance, and he actually goes further out than he ever was in any of the previous schemes. And then he shoots, and he hits it in one shot. So just to show him, like, the only reason I feel like the second time that it happened is because you were threatening to kind of take a bigger, larger chunk of this share of what this money was, having no respect for my part in this. So it's almost kind of to show him, like, like,
you need me.
You need me just as,
Wow, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I figured out there.
I was like,
he's definitely going to shoot him. I think I was expecting a rule of three to happen, like maybe subconsciously, because I was like, he's going to shoot him down. And then sure enough, he like got out there and he pulled out the rifle. Yeah, it was like, okay, yep, he shot him down. Even though Tuco was like actively trying to hang himself, it seemed like instead of just sitting still.
Like, stop yelling for him. Stop.
I also love that like yelling was what was making him like topple
Slipping.
over.
Yeah.
It was like whenever he was quiet, he was perfectly fine. But the instant he started trying to yell Blondie,
Dude, I think a 3 came up again, and just the fact in the sort of back and forth with the power dynamic between the two of them, between, you know, leaving Tuco out there, hey, it's 70 miles for you to get back to town. Which, when you think about it, that is a crazy walk through the desert. Dude, like, usually on Saturdays, I'll go for a 6-mile walk, and it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So to think about going on a 6-mile walk, it taking an hour and a half, and thinking, well, I still have 64 miles left.
and painful. It's the desert.
And it's
diabolical.
Desert, yeah.
That's why you guys are like, oh, he has honor. I was like, where? I didn't really see that, but
it's in the way that like he just does like certain things. Like mostly it comes from like the decision instead of. There were so many times where he could have probably just shot and killed somebody immediately,
Sure.
but like dragged it out. And like Tuco didn't really have that. Tuco was more just like it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Angel Eyes, he just kind of did whatever he wanted to do, however he wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But he also kind of did it within like almost like his own confinement. Like
that's true. Like the whole "you paid me to do something,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it," and then you paid me, so now I get to kill you.
And then when you look at how Blondie decided instead of just turning and shooting Angel Eyes right then and there, it's like we're gonna have this standoff.
Sure.
Even though he knew the whole time in the standoff that only he was going to shoot Angel Eyes and only he was going to be able to because he had taken Tuco's bullets.
Yeah.
And so like it like in a lawless world, it was like they were creating their own laws to just govern themselves.
Sure.
Also, at the end of the film, like he could have easily left with all of it. Like
That
he
was
didn't have to leave
especially how I
anything.
knew he was going to
True.
shoot.
Yeah.
The I was like, well, he left half of it. It'd be very weird for him. Like I was like, Tuco, he's left half of the money over here. It'd be very weird of him to like let you hang yourself and then come like, yeah, let me come back and get this money.
So yeah, I mean, like stuff like that, I just thought was like to your point earlier, it's like they're all kind of bad,
Yeah.
but like the way there was like I feel like slight nuance in the code they had.
Sure,
like
like
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was just gonna say like the confines that they made for themselves. Like thinking someone said that, or just like the railroad that their character was, kind of obviously on.
Absolutely,
that makes sense.
Because Tuco had there was no structure at all, and it did make me think about. And I wrote this in my notes about. I wonder if Vince Gilligan was inspired by, to any degree, the good, bad, and the ugly with Breaking Bad, because one of the characters is Tuco, and Tuco is one of the first, I think, drug bosses that Walter White encounters in Breaking Bad. And it kind of really, a lot of the events that happened between them, like Jesse, Tuco, and Walter, still were felt and had ripple effects through the very end of that series, right?
Oh.
Like it carried through the entire time. And I started to think about, okay, in that paradigm, who is the good, who's the bad, who's the ugly? And I think that when it comes to Breaking Bad, as weird as it may sound, like I think Jesse Pinkman is the good. I think that Tuco actually is the bad, and I think Walter's the one who's the ugly.
Yeah.
Because you see that his moral code, like, because even with Tuco, when he took them out into the desert that one episode, and he's going to he could have killed them easily, but you see that he's still taking care of his uncle. You see that he had this dedication to his family. And yes, Walter White still has that, but like over the course of the series, you see his moral compass starts to degrade.
Sure.
To the point where a burner phone that he's using for these drug deals, he hides in the school that he teaches at. Like, that's not something that you do, because what if something happens that brings them there to your school? Those are kids there.
Yeah.
Right? And like he's and they're all, at the end of the day, they're all going for money. They all have, and so I just think that like it seems like there is sort of that working, and you're just following this time, even though Walter White's not named Tuco, you're following the ugly is like the main protagonist as opposed to, Blondie, the good.
Which is funny because at some point I realized like we see more of Tuco than we do the other two. And I was like, it's funny for a movie called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly that the ugly is the one that we see so much of. Because I mean, it's like even the only character we really get like even like a slight background on.
Yeah, dang. Yeah, no, you're right. With his brother, yeah.
And then I guess, and then through his brother, like his family structure a little bit.
Mm.
And then Angel Eyes is just in the Union.
Dude, Angel Eyes is introduction. That was like the most nefarious mustache I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was like while I knew like, I was like, well, I know that who is who in the movie, but like as soon as they showed him, I was like, well, that's the bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the mustache.
Yeah, dude.
It was the mustache.
It was so
the
nefarious.
Eyebrows too. Yeah.
Like without being like a curled mustache.
Yeah.
It was so nefarious. And just the way he like looked and presented himself with that little smirk. You're like,
yeah. He was too confident.
And like I think that if you put Blondie in that same situation with how it opened, him looking for, going to that house to look for Bill Carson or information on him, like I don't think that Blondie would have shot his son, even if his son aimed a gun at him. He might have like shot him just to make him drop the gun.
Yeah,
but I don't
or
think
shot the gun.
Yeah, exactly, out of his hand. I don't think he would have killed him. But that scene like kind of threw me off guard. Like I did not expect killing the father. Sure, like that you felt that coming, but then the son comes down. And then he just kills him like no problem at all. And the turnaround to go back to the guy that originally paid you to put the pillow over his face and to shoot.
Unload.
Dude, that was wild to me. Like, but you know what? It was like, I always carry out my job if I get paid.
Yeah, he paid
like,
me,
shit.
I think, to kill you.
that's the craziest.
Yeah, like, he wanted me to kill you.
It wasn't.
He just took the money. He was like, I'll do something, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, it also had this feeling like I this may also kind of be a reach, but I found that there were some similarities like Saving Private Ryan in the sense that like Saving Private Ryan all about like Saving Private Ryan, about Matt Damon's character, and that is the driving force of the story of a character that you don't see until the end of the movie.
Yeah,
and it kind of felt that way with Bill Carson because he felt like he was the driving force, and even after he's shown to have died, like he's still being mentioned. You have Tuco who's impersonating him. A lot of what they're doing is driving off of the information that Bill Carson was given, and yet that is a person that you saw one time. In one scene.
Dying
of all things. Yeah. And then yet it is the events around this character that drives everything that these three people, that these like main characters do.
I also liked his reveal because you're kind of expecting him to be like a character that we see and that like shows up and has like some importance in the story. And then there's just this like runaway like carriage. And then like they open the back of it and there's that dude that he just like kind of falls out. And then Tuco looks further in, and then as soon as you see the dude with the eye patch, you're like, that's Bill Carson.
Exactly. Yep. All I know is that he like lost his eye and like went back and went into the Confederacy.
Because they talked about him being like in the 3rd Regiment.
Yeah.
And then like you see the side of the carriage, and it's like, oh, that's the 3rd. And then he's like, oh, that's him. This the guy.
That's Bill Carson. Yes.
Damn, he's dead. And then he like is alive. You're like, oh no, he's alive. And then, and I don't know if you guys like. So I questioned like I was like at the end of the movie. Did you think that Blondie knew, like Blondie actually had the information on who like on the grave?
I don't. I assumed
So I assumed that he didn't.
Oh,
for almost all of the movie, I assumed that in his need to like survive, that he picked up on Tuco's desperation, and Tuco just wouldn't stop talking. And I just assumed that he had just garnered enough information to realize that there was something that he needed, and if he could just never give it to Tuco would ensure that he stayed alive.
Yeah.
And I thought like at the end when he like and I should have known when he gave that name, and then it ended up being a name there that meant he did have some information, and that he didn't just pull something out of the
gotcha.
world.
I think I see your question.
But I was like, when there was nothing there, and he knew there was nothing there, I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, I had no clue who it was. And that was when he like talked about the like he was like, I'm gonna write the name on the rock. I was like, there's not gonna be anything on that rock. And sure enough, there's nothing on that rock. And I thought it was gonna be like he's gonna flip, and like we're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. Like, it's so clever. It's just like not something that I would expect from a film. And again, I shouldn't just sort of discount or just undermine something like that just because it's an older film. They can't possibly do certain things, and yet like here it is. You know.
Well, to be fair, it had 3 hours.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, which is a very long time, but I found it very entertaining. Just to, I can also see, like, especially from our generation, what we know of Clint Eastwood is like the first time I saw a Clint Eastwood movie, he was already like 1,000,000 years old.
Yeah,
you know, so I don't have the same sort of like gravitation towards him that my parents would have or my grandparents would have, because 1967, I think my grandpa would have been 36 when this movie came out. So it's a much different experience, obviously, in his relationship to an actor like Clint Eastwood, right? And it is one of those things, one of those things where as I see it, I'm like, okay, I get how he became such a big name in film. But also it made me wonder about actors today that we're very familiar with, and 30 to 40 years from now, you know, who do you think is around now that you think is a great actor or actress, and like, is there anyone that you fear that future generations will have no recollection or have any understanding of just how prominent and great they were in our time?
I think Bill Murray for sure is just who's jumping to my head.
Okay.
Just because I guess he's kind of already older now. So.
Yeah.
I kind of hate to say it, but I think Denzel.
Whoa, okay.
That's a good, yeah.
I think that as he finishes his run, that 30 years from now, people will probably not even be thinking about him. And they'll be going back to Training Day and be like, wow, that was a... So, when there's a movie podcast 30 years from now, going back and like, Training Day was really good.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to have some poor cinematography, but it turns out they knew what they were doing in 2001.
Man, as old as this is, jeez, this is 50 years old now.
I do want to know what it felt like to watch this in the theaters, or even this like trilogy. I think would be fun, because I was trying to place like the movie theater experience, because it's the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So like, and I guess it was more off the fact that it's 3 hours long. So like going to the movies was still like an activity, I guess.
Right.
I mean, it still is today, but
think-
it's more of like
I want to say by the 60s, especially probably the late 60s, I think they had moved out of that like kind of weird, I don't want to say weird, but like that phase where like you dressed up in like suits and stuff and like went out to the movie theaters.
right, and you saw your cartoon, your pre-movie cartoon. Yeah.
It would definitely be way beyond that time. But it is interesting to think about, like, just from an audience perspective. I think one of the cool things is thinking about when you watch a film like this, from our vantage point, we understand that there's so much room for growth in like the technology that is used to create films, and like we will end up having a different perspective because all of us were born like 20 to 30 years after this film came out. And back then, I remember one of the things that our professor had told us about like the film Psycho is that the first gasp he remembers hearing, because he was old enough to be at the theaters to see that movie when it came out.
Whoa.
But I guess at the time it was like 40 years after, so it was like it made sense. Like I mean, given my age, like when I started college, but he said the first time he heard the audience gasp was at the shot where they showed the toilet in the bathroom, because it just wasn't a thing that you did, right? Like to think about Brady Bunch. Like Brady Bunch, the mom and dad slept in separate beds when they would show that room, because there's just certain things you couldn't do.
Sure.
You know, like, and I think that even in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I'm not sure if I even heard a curse word until the very end. I think Tuco
like,
said puta
earlier,
like bitch, and then he says it again towards the end when he calls Blondie a son of a bitch. But it, like, I just wonder, because things were so tame back then, it seemed like you couldn't show sex, you couldn't, like, people laying in the same bed, all that shit.
You saw Tuco's cheeks. He had a little tush came out when he stood up
tush
from,
came out?
Yeah,
I
when he
didn't
stood
see
up
that.
from
when
the
he was
bathtub.
standing up from the bathtub. It was so quick, though.
It was very quick.
I was like, thank you. So I didn't want to see it. Like,
You already showed me, like, both of his
I
foot.
did not
Like,
want to see
Yeah.
Eli Wallach's butt cheeks.
he did it.
But sorry to cut you off.
No, dude, you're good. You're good. Sorry, I just
No, you're
I'm
fine.
rambling.
No, you're good.
Did you know that the Flintstones was the first animated depiction of a couple sleeping in the same bed?
I did not know that.
Me either.
That was in 1966, I believe.
Wait, same year.
Flintstones came out. Another thing that I didn't know, the Ecstasy of Gold song is from this movie. It's the
Yeah, dude, yeah.
I don't think
I feel like they played in a lot of like Ford truck commercials
like,
now.
I think it's like
Okay, so it's one of those. If I hear it, I'll know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you're a man, a truck with something with a nice hem is what you need.
Ford, built tough.
Are you laboring?
Also, I learned, because it was annoying the ever-living crap out of me, this movie was filmed silently.
Yes. Okay,
Oh my
thank you
gosh,
for bringing
yes,
it up, because
yeah.
so many points were like, "This is a dub. This has to be a dub."
Yes.
Okay,
The movie
thank
was
God. Because like
filmed
the
silently, and Clint, Eli, and Lee do their own dubbing. Everyone else is dubbed by just like mystery people. No one seems to know there's no credits for them.
okay.
And as well, while the movie is filmed silently, they are obviously talking because their mouths are moving. It is a hodgepodge of languages.
Okay.
So if people knew English, they spoke English.
Oh,
If they knew Spanish, they spoke Spanish. And if they knew Italian, they spoke Italian.
Whoa.
very cool.
Which is why there are quite often times where like you can really tell that it's a dub because lips aren't matching
The
up to
Confederate
voices.
guy, speaking of the crusty bottle, like that. I was like, "That's not that guy."
Yeah.
There's no way.
No, dude. It
was-
have the guy that Angel Eyes called Half Soldier or Half Pint.
Yeah.
Like that was the first one.
Yes.
I noticed it a little bit earlier, but when he came up, the dude who was like walking with like the bricks in his hands or
Yeah.
whatever, I'm like, that you're not talking right
Yes.
now. That is
Yeah.
not your voice.
That's not you.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are
Thank you
even
for confirming
times-
that. I
yeah.
needed that.
Like, because there are times just I was just like, this is like, what is happening here? I thought like maybe like the timing was off or something on like the recording, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is weird. But then there would be times where like there's a time where Tuco is it's once they get out of, once they've done their like destroy the bridge of the River Kwai and go over to like where the dead kid was, and that he like is giving the cigar to while he's like taking puff exchanges with this dead guy. And Tuco Tuco talks to him for a second before he like runs off with the thing, and he says some words, but his mouth does not move at all. It's like his mouth is like closed, but he's like, yes, and I was like, what the? Like, you didn't even try.
You forgot your line.
They did a great job. Like the three protagonists.
I was about to say, like, the main characters, it was believable enough, but like any side person, it was just so off.
There were I think there were some that were like the corporal. What's his name? Was it Corporal Wallace, the guy who had been torturing Tuco? Who are you?
Oh, I was gonna say the captain, like the Union captain, like at the bridge, like that guy was probably speaking Italian, like that was egregious.
Speaking of the bridge, okay, because I don't even through my second rewatch, through my second viewing, I still couldn't get a beat on why exactly were they apprehensive about destroying that bridge.
I think because it was so crucial for supply lines on both sides that everyone wanted to control the bridge, but they didn't want to give it up to the enemy. Is that kind of what you were?
I think so.
Yeah.
That part, I'm going to admit, that part is a blur to me. Not because it went by fast, but because it
was so boring. They could have cut that.
like, because I was like, this movie is so long, and I'm trying to place where the climax is. My guess is that the climax is when Blondie and Tuco take on
Angel Eyes?
Angel Eyes with five guys at the like bombed out theater.
Yeah.
Bombed out place. That's my assumption. And so like because of that, I was like, okay, we're moving on to like the final parts. I'm not paying attention to the time at this point, but I'm like, we should be moving on to the final parts. And then they just introduced this whole part, and I'm like, I do not care get them to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like the captain is just rambling, and he's also like, it's almost like he was real drunk.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Being just
sure.
so incoherent.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you even saying? What are you talking about right now?
Mm-hmm. Well, he had that line of like, well, I say that, but after you confirming that everything was dubbed over, but that liquor is the greatest weapon in war.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like
The
both sides
side
are
that-
drunk, and
Yeah,
like,
the
and I'm
side-
like, cool, but why do I care?
Right.
What am I supposed to care about this right now? And then they talked about the bridge, and I think they did say something about the supply lines,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, so your plan is to just run both sides at it,
Yeah.
and
Until
then
someone
like
runs out of guys.
like shoot a whole bunch and then go back. I'm like, well, we're gonna have to do this again later today.
Well, that was. I mean, I don't know if this is all historically accurate, but I feel like that was just how warfare was done.
And
you
it
know,
was,
like-
and it's like,
Yeah.
and especially during that time because there wasn't
Yeah.
trench warfare yet,
Right.
so they were definitely just like still kind of doing the old like
stand and shoot.
charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody like runs at each other, but like, I want you at the cemetery. I don't care. I like.
Yep.
It was like at some point I understood you needed to be like, well, the Civil War is still going on, but you pulled that off perfectly at the mission, where like they showed like the casualty, like the with the cost of war, and all like how both sides were in this place. They're not fighting each other. They're recognizing like maybe this was not worth like
Losing a
everything that
leg
we've
or
been
dying.
doing.
Yeah.
And you're like, got it. So I didn't need this second part where you did like a mini war enactment, like it was like 1982 over at the Battle of Waterloo or something. Like I just
Yeah.
like just. And I it really didn't help that he really just was so rambling incoherently, and then like got hurt, and then they were just like, "We're gonna blow up the bridge.
We're gonna do it for you,
We're gonna do it for you." And
Yeah.
we're like,
for you.
it's like, "Yeah, you do that."
Yeah.
And then he's sitting there all like brain leaking and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Just keep me alone long enough to see." And then it blew up. He's like,
Yeah.
and I'm
To
like,
keep your ears open or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was wondering, like, because so basically, I know he said that he would do it, but he's a coward or something like that. But I was just, that's what muddied it up for me. I'm like, I don't understand. Then just do it. Like, you have the explosive right here. Like,
Yeah.
Blondie and Tuco just got here, and they're literally
Like, oh, hey,
killed
looking
take
right.
this box.
Yeah.
because I think, and now that I'm realizing that like there was thoughts to do it, because I was like, two non-uniformed men have just grabbed a box
Yeah.
labeled explosives and headed toward the bridge.
No
and
one
there are
cared,
just people
dude.
looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep doing your thing, man. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Oh, I just gotta go pick up all these
Yeah.
dead guys.
I'm like, I do not understand why the apprehension. I really don't. But still, I don't know if the point was just to show how all consuming the war was. But yeah, I can definitely see how it makes me wonder now, knowing that there's like 17 additional minutes. Was that not the bridge being blown up specifically? 'Cause
I would like
imagine
to
something
know
that
what the
cost that.
extended part is.
Yeah.
Yes. 'Cause I'm like, was that part of it?
Because they were saying like, because when it was saying it was extended, it was like there were parts that like they took out and they like had to like, so they took them out in such a way that like they had to redub them,
Oh.
and so much so that like these parts also contained parts with the main three characters because they did the dubbing themselves at a later age.
Oh,
Wild.
okay. Did not think that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's interesting.
So I should have looked up what were the parts that were extended. Because I was like, I was wondering throughout it. I was like, what parts are missing? Like, because I was thinking to myself, like, what parts would I not have in this movie?
Right. The bridge part.
the bridge part is one. I think I would have definitely shortened like the period of time where like he was walking Blondie through the desert.
Sure.
Dude, I thought the same thing.
He looked
Yeah.
horrible for
Terrible.
like, I assumed it was a day at most. But yeah, it just looked like he
The way that
had
clears
leprosy.
up by the end
Like,
of the
yes.
movie kills me. Because I was like, there's no way that clears up. And then by the
Yeah.
end of the movie,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just
Yeah,
a
he's
regular
just-
fresh face.
Right.
Yeah.
He just needed to sleep for a day.
And apparently Blondie's got a healing factor that we don't know about.
Exactly. Well, final thoughts.
I think it's just time to...
I think it's time to give the people what they want.
What they've been waiting for. Not 3 hours though.
I mean, we should just go for like an hour and a half.
We could. I'd have to edit it though, and I'd probably shoot myself in the face.
Let's not do that. Because I would cry.
Yeah.
Call. What happened, Andrew? He was editing a 3-hour podcast episode about a 3-hour.
You just couldn't take it.
How many Panharmonicons does this get? How many Panharmonicons does it get? How many Panharmonicons does this get? How many Panharmonicons?
It got 4 out of 5 for me. It would have probably gotten closer to a 5 if it was just not as long as it was. I love the final standoff. I love the cinematography. I like how there was just like crazy close-ups on faces, and then times where like they would do something where they'd have like that crazy close-up, and usually whenever they would do the crazy close-up, it would just like do a cut to like another one. But then like sometimes like when Tuco was in the train, it just instead did a pull out because it needed to give you more information about what was going on, and I thought that was cool. There were just times where like the camera would move in ways that you could tell at that point, like it literally was like someone took it off the track and was picking it up and just like kind of moving it around so they could just like keep the camera centralized, but show that like things are happening around it. I love this score. This is probably one of my favorite movie scores. So much so that I'm not calling it a soundtrack. It is a score. Like this, like
it's art, baby.
Like they did their job here.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 for me. I have to say, because it was an older movie, I did kind of think I would go into it being like, it's just one of those like them old movies, but it really did. It surprised the hell out of me, and I really, for the audience, I heavily suggest watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly if you have not seen it.
Awesome.
Here.
Sorry. Go
for it.
I give it a 5. I give it a 5 out of 5 Panharmonicons. I do think, again, like it's interesting to me to sort of like reverse engineer so many of the films that I've seen like in modern times and see, oh, you got this from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, whether it's the score, whether it is how you decided to use your camera, whether it is how you decided to use the writing or sort of develop the relationship between your protagonist, your main characters in the film. I thought all of that was very interesting. I thought it was interesting how they really are the mainstays, and it does this kind of strange thing where normally I don't think it would work, but here I was like okay with it, where they would introduce characters that I would assume would come up again, and they just don't. Like Maria, the hooker that is introduced by getting tossed, which honestly is something that kind of just made me feel sick. Because it's one of those things where you just know the Wild West.
Ever living crap out of her.
Yeah, and there's like 4 dudes in a carriage. They just throw her off, and they're just, and you just know that whatever preceded that one moment had to have been hell for her. And I'm just thinking like, I want to fuck them up so bad, like, because it just makes you think back to that time and just how lawless everything was, and how many people did they kill, and it's like probably nobody cared. Yeah, it's just another dead body, and just how crazy and chaotic that time must have been. So interesting. There's so many interesting elements, and like, yes, it's long, and there are definitely parts where I'm like, you could have cut down the torture that Tuco was, between Tuco and Blondie and other scenes, but even still, I think just given its time, it feels ahead of its time. Like it feels like when you think about where film might have been 30, 40, 50 years before, it sounds like a long time, but when you think about it, that's not all that long. And what they were able to accomplish, like practical effects and whatnot, and crazy scenes like when Tuco broke the chain off of, like, stuff like that, like, it just felt so clever, like how they were trying to figure out how to get this off of the ground. So yeah, I would give it a 5 and highly recommend people watching it.
Yeah, I would give it a 4. Also, highly recommend. It's something that I feel like has been, I don't want to say haunting my life, but haunting my life. Just, I'm surprised I haven't seen it up until now, I guess is really what it is. A lot of the same feelings Dame had, but I think it was one that I had to, as awesome as that first scene was, I was just so confused as to what was happening. Like, I had to really drop into the movie and like really let myself be in it to then fully get it. So that's probably just, user error. So if I watched it again, or I do want to watch the other 2 as well, because I think this was very interesting to see, because Dame was giving us a little bit of the timeline before we started recording, and it is such a classic that I think it would be a disservice to not watch the other movies.
Yeah.
So
And I totally feel what you're saying, because I think when I first started watching it, I was just like multitasking a lot. And then at a certain point, I realized, like, I don't think I'm picking up on everything. So I stopped. I went back to the beginning. I'm like, I think I need to just like sit down and just only engage it.
Yeah.
And that's also why I started over again, because I started to realize that I don't think there's certain things I don't think I heard correctly. I don't think that I heard, like, made the connection of between certain things that they were saying, because it's so dialogue heavy.
Sure.
That if you miss because I don't know about you guys, there are times when, like, I could be like in a meeting, and if I just like accidentally tune out for like 10 seconds,
game over.
I am lost in the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And so I kind of felt like, okay, I need to re-engage this. I need to listen, and I need to just like be here. And then as I started to do that, I'm like, wow, like this is like really bringing me in a little bit, like bringing me in more, because it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays I feel like the dude's an asshole, but at the end of the day, like he does make pretty good films, really good films, right? And they aren't super action heavy. It's a lot of just like listening to what they're saying, how clever that writing is. So yeah, that's my last little bit.
Yeah, I think that I think the only reason I was able to pay attention right out the gate was because of the fact that I did have to pay attention. And I don't know if it's like my audio setup or whatever it was, but like the audio was really wonky for me. Like dialogue was quiet.
Oh.
And so I had to like raise the volume to hear people.
Okay.
Like correctly. But then as soon as like I'd be hearing people, then like gunshots would start going off.
Yeah.
It'd be the loudest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, gotta drag that back down. And then I have to pull it back up, because here's what Angel is. Just like, what are you saying? Let me bring it back up real quick.
Yeah.
But no, this when you were saying that like there were so many characters that you thought were going to be doing things, I actually wrote that. I was like, there are so many people in this movie, and like it's like every few minutes there's like a fresh face, or like something new is happening. It's like there are so many scenes.
Yeah,
like they're like I never realized just like the concept of a scene in a movie and what that meant until like watching this movie, because like. There's just constant change, like not scenery, but like literal scenes where like you're just like a character is off here doing something, and then suddenly you're just shipped off, and then a new place, new things are happening, new people are talking, and you're like, am I supposed to know this person? Am I not supposed to know this person? I'm not sure, but like at the end of the day, it all like accumulated to the ending. And I think that was all that really mattered at the end of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because like there were like Maria again, that like I didn't even realize once I started rewatching it again. I didn't realize that they actually called her out by name before she was even introduced. When they were asking about Bill Carson, they were like, "Well, he knows this whore named Maria. She goes here." Because at first time, the first watch through, I was like, who is she and why is she being introduced? And then I'm like, oh crap, they actually did mention her.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of that ends up happening as they're trying to piece together this whole mystery around this money. Yeah.
And I guess not to go on a tangent that could go for a while, but it also hit me like the scale of like the production, I guess, of just like all that had to go into like actually making this movie. I feel like would be just so much. Like it had to be wild.
Yeah.
Sorry. And let us know what you thought about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And out of us, who do you think is the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Don't do this.
Say it now in the comments. Both Spotify and YouTube. And while you're on YouTube, if you can subscribe for us, that'd be excellent. And if you could also give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending upon how you feel about this movie. As I learned, if you're on your PC and you hit the thumbs up on our stuff, it gives a little clapperboard animation, which I thought was really cool. I unliked and liked a bunch of stuff to see what was happening. If you're on Spotify, you can give us a rating of 1 through 5. It doesn't do that on Spotify, unfortunately. But if you can give us a follow, that'd be excellent. And above all else, I want to thank you guys and you gals, you cowboys and you cowgals, for listening to another episode of Panharmonicon Studios Presents.
Podcast boy.
Thank you for listening.
We'll catch you in the next one.